Howdy, folks. All right, we got the RV back. We had the repair. I'll do a video about the latest little repair thing. It was fun. We actually had a coolant hose. It looks like an animal, maybe a cat. I don't know, something. Either got on there with its claws. It was a coolant hose running up by the transmission. It was one of our new hoses from a year ago, one of the blue silicone hoses, and it had all these holes. And anyway, I had weeks ago gone to start the engine and got a stop engine light, which I've never had before. And anyway, it turned out it was the coolant. All the coolant had drained out of this thing. And so I patched it up, got it over to my guys to help get it fixed, and I had a couple of things I wanted to get looked at while we were there. So got all new coolant line right through there, all new coolant. And then the water temperature gauge used to work, and I had noticed kind of in the midst of all that it was just like stuck on 160. It wasn't working. So we got a new one ordered. Thank you, Dan Barlett over at Coach Parts. And then the oil temp gauge had never worked since I bought it, and actually it turned out the needle had kind of fallen off. So they ordered one of those. Thank you, Randy Dupre and Dupre Products. Got that. So we got the oil temp one in time. We actually had to pick it the unit up early because we're scheduled for a little weekend camping trip. So the oil temp gauge got installed. Still waiting on the water temp one to come in. But yeah, here was the thing. So, go to pick it up. I'm driving home, and the oil temp gauge, first time I've ever had one on here, and it's just climbing up, and it just kept going and going, and went all the way to like 320. Of course, I'm driving down the road worried that, do I have an engine heating problem, or is this just, here's a new gauge and it's not reading right, which I think is the case, because I'm kind of blind because now my water temp gauge doesn't work, and it used to. But, with all the work they did, all new coolant, pressure tests, all the stuff, we're good to go. I have no reason to believe I have a coolant issue on the engine. And so just checking all that when I got home, smelled the oil dipstick, doesn't smell burnt. I think it's just a bad reading. I don't understand how that can be, why that can be. Who knows? Somebody might have previously, since it never worked since I've had it, maybe they messed with the wires. I don't know, something jacked up. So I got to kind of put that aside and not worry about it, I think. But it was a little stressful driving it home with that happening. So I get it home and I'm parking it, and then I kind of notice out the mirror that the generator exhaust is a little smoky, a little smokier. So I don't know. I go out, come back in, I look at the generator oil pressure gauge, and I notice it's kind of fluttering a little bit. I've never seen it do that. And I thought, well, shoot, what do I have going on there? Some kind of low oil. Anyway, after everything cooled down, I checked it. It looks like we're fine on oil level. I topped off the reservoir to halfway. It was down a little bit on the coolant for the generator. Anyway, I don't know. Tomorrow I'll come back out, and after I have everything off, switch back to generator, turn everything on, put a load on it. I don't know if it was just because it was 100 degrees out. It was hot. And I had a full load, 3 ACs and everything else going in here on the way home. I don't know. Did that put some extra strain on it where it's smoky? Who knows? But, right before our camping trip on the weekend, got to have some kind of Wanderlodge things come up. That's the way it is. So, but yeah, we're going to go over to Grove, Oklahoma. We had talked about that, I think, in another video where we went and checked it out. There's a place there called the Regatta that's really cool. It's right on the Grand Lake, the water. And, they have a restaurant, a bar, and everything right there. It's all kind of self-contained. And so we're looking forward to that. A couple of our friends are going to meet out there with their rigs and have a long weekend. So, so we'll do a video, have the whole Regatta experience, and God forbid we have a problem with the generator and it's a hot drive both ways. That would suck. We'll go get some more fuel. We've been waiting it out since the last time we topped off. at the service center today, we did talk about fuel additive because I hadn't really added anything to the fuel. So they recommended the Power Service, I think it's the brand, for diesel fuel. And we talked actually about that quite a bit, about how you have a summer blend of diesel. If you run your engine in the cold, maybe we don't experience the cold like others, but in the cold of the winter, if you have a summer blend, I mean, you can have this gelling of the diesel. Well, I find myself learning still about a lot of stuff here. Didn't realize that was actually something that could happen. And so anyway, we'll definitely get some of the additive before we take the trip. I'll probably top off the whole tank now that the diesel prices have come down a little bit. And, get ready. I may not top the whole thing off. We'll see. Just thinking about the trips that are kind of left in the year. I mean, after this, we have Labor Day and a trip up to Branson and Devil's Den. So we got a few trips around here, but they're kind of close in. So anyway, we've got plenty of things to come and talk about. Having some fun on the channel, posting a variety of stuff from the Wanderlodge to, health. Got a whole health thing going out there that I thought it might be interesting to put it out there. We'll see. Others might find it interesting. And then, of course, I'm always trying to do more with my music. Really haven't had much time to kind of practice up and do much of that like I want to. But, with winter coming, maybe there'll be more time to do some of that. All right. There'll be more coming as we get into this weekend trip, good or bad. Thanks for watching. All right, just a couple updates. After we got it back from service and we're getting ready for this weekend trip to Grove. So the engine oil temp gauge, was reading super high, like maxed out. So we just got the laser, temp gun out and got it up to good temperature here, and basically all the thermostat areas on the engine and the oil pan consistently read 135, and this oil temp gauge I'd gotten it to basically 210. So it's reading about 55% higher. I guess that's one way to look at it. So if this thing was 170 or 200, it's conceivable that it could be reading 280. I mean, it was reading up to 320, but so at this point we have no reason to believe that that was actually happening. And we checked everything, and it's just the gauge is reading wrong. So they kind of think maybe the sending unit is going to be the next thing to look at on this. So all right, and then the generator, although it was smoking a little bit when I got here, it's been smoking a little bit. I think I just probably noticed it more. And it had a full load. It was 100 degrees out. When I ran it today to get a kind of another check on it, the oil temp, the oil pressure gauge for the generator, nice and steady as it warmed up. And then once I put a load on it, I even saw then that it, had a little bit of flutter in it. So I just probably had never noticed that much. But yeah, it was a lot of load, all three ACs and the other things running in here. So, all right. We should be ready to go. We're not concerned about anything at this point. So we're going to have a good weekend camping trip. Except for the fact that the very first stop is over at Love's to get topped off on some fuel. All right, so I guess it was somebody on the Wanderlodge Facebook page was talking about what they use to clean the rub rail here. And what's it called?
Oh, the box is over there.
It's this yellow box. It's called Wipe New by Rust-Oleum Trim Restore. And what Sherry had ended up using before was sort of a green scrub
to get all the water spots off.
Sponge, and that seemed the best thing out of everything we tried. We had boxes and boxes of cleaners and scrubbers and electric tools. We tried it all, and nothing was getting these things shiny last year. So then this person posted that, so we thought we'd get it, and so far so good. But this is kind of what we've seen before. Is it looks great right here, but then by morning, maybe not. But this does look promising. That's super shiny, looking good.
I'm gonna stop there and then pick it back up tomorrow. But if it works, look.
Ooh, wow! Look at that oxidation just coming right off.
If it truly lasts, and it's just not a
Looking good. Yeah. It's all those little things. I'm still admiring my new wipers. Put those on today, and I got them all straight. The other ones are all cockeyed. It drove me nuts. I like it. All right, here we are at the Regatta. They have a full restaurant, bar, and they're doing the harp music. So where are we?
The Regatta on Grand. And this sweet waitress found us ice cream. Can you bring a couple little plates?
Look at that. You could be RVing right outside, and then you can come in here and eat fabulous dinner. We had primer dinner. Big desserts. They got beer selection like crazy over there. So the Regatta on the Grand, they're doing it right. What do you think, Mark?
Outstanding.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's always the same.
Hey everybody.
It's always the same people every time.
Yeah. Where are we?
This heat.
We're there.
This heat.
Are you videoing?
You're videoing. We're in Grove, Oklahoma.
You know,
With the party group.
you know what I mean? It's maybe
Well, one of our stops here in the Grove, Oklahoma area had to be Harbor Village. We're not actually going to walk through it. We just ate at the cafe here just now for lunch, but earlier today we were out on a pontoon boat rental. But, you know, it's a pretty neat little place. We're just talking, though, it's so warm here still. We might just come back in the fall. See it then.
Welcome back to Woody's channel. We are just returning from our weekend at the Regatta on Grand over in Grove, Oklahoma. Scott, you want to update us on the trip?
Yeah, you know, we're on the final leg, actually. We grab it. We're on our way into Bentonville here in a few minutes. But anyway, yeah, it was a really good trip. We only had a couple little Wanderlodge issues, kind of minor. We had a little condensation leak from the front AC finding its way into a antenna hole, you know, and so we got all that all done like it should have been. Fixed that. And then the next day we had a little strange leak erupted in the bathroom sink. So we kind of used some Flex Seal tape and got that temporarily fixed, but I'll have to redo all that adapters that I had in there.
Yeah, let's give a little shout out to Mark Weinberg of Mark Weinberg's Roofing, because you know it's always nice to travel with a roofer when you have roofing issues.
Yeah, he had some
on an RV.
Really good roofing caulk we used. It's called Through the Roof. So, but anyway, everything else has been fine. Mechanically, we had a good trip too, so that's always nice. But yeah, just a quick video. We had some other video string along on this thing, but maybe just want to kind of close this out with a recap of the Regatta and Grove.
Yeah, this was our second trip over to Grove. We did a pre-trip, stayed in a little motel a few weeks ago just to check out the Regatta on Grand. It's a different concept of an RV park. It's a small park, but they have an excellent restaurant on site with a rooftop bar, pizza and entertainment, and a margarita truck, little golf cart, I guess, that comes around every day at 5 o'clock and delivers free margaritas. And sites are lakefront with great views, and I'm sure Scott will post some pictures. Full patios with party lights and gas grills and outdoor sofas, and just another level of RV camping, but close to the home, hour and 15 minutes for us. So I know we'll be back hopefully when the temperature is under 100 degrees. So thanks for watching our video, and we'll see you soon.